$80 a month times this, and they're glazing over and it's just too much information overload, right? So slow it down, put it on a nice piece of paper, and then you leave this with them. I would recommend taking a picture of this before you leave just for your own notes, okay? This is not for us. We already know what we're doing. This is for somebody 24 hours later, or somebody's son or daughter comes in and saying, what the heck did you do with my mom and dad? Leaving this behind, nice and professional, with our little cornerstone brochure. Hopefully it'll help any buyer's remorse. This is the actual seminar that I've done. This is what kind of weird, but this is the seminar format that I've done, and I just want to explain to you guys, if you want to write annuities over the next few years, these Medicare supplements are the way to do it, okay? If you're in a Medicaid house and there's no money, help them the best that you can, but if you're trying to get into bigger, higher net worth houses, they typically have Medicare supplements. If they have Medicare Advantage, it's a whole different avenue, okay? So this is for folks who say, okay, I presented 10 Medicare supplements and half the people just wanted to think about it. Well, that's too much, okay? If you're writing Medicare supplements, you're doing it the right way. How you actually present this, just like when we talk about annuities, is so crucial. Because if you're not answering the questions before they ask them, they might want to think about it, and you're not getting to the source of why they really don't want to do it with you, okay? So this is the way that I actually present it. After you've done your warm-up and you've introduced Cornerstone, okay, I want to make sure we're doing that completely all the time. This is who we are, so it kind of helps them feel a little bit better. If they have to see Google reviews or anything else, they can always do that. Once you've done your fact finder and you find out that they have a Mutual of Omaha Plan F, okay? Who here loves Plan F? Is it amazing? It's good coverage, but it's outdated now, right? We're going to get into that. Hopefully we all have that same hot button, because when we did our training a couple of days ago, people didn't have that hot button be like, F is good, but we got to get you into a G, okay? And I'm going to explain why we're going to do that. So right off the bat, I always explain to folks, if they've got a Medicare Supplement Plan F, and they've got it with Mutual of Omaha, and I've got their premium, I always start with this slide. Does everybody have this in their presentation book? Everybody, every single person in this room has this in their presentation book. It's my first page, and it's laminated. If you don't, I really, really encourage you guys to have this, okay? When I show this to somebody, this is, I don't care if they know the difference between Medicare Supplements and Advantage right now. One of their objections at the end is gonna be, no, I just wanna think about it, and they're not telling you why, because they don't wanna switch their doctor. My doctor might not take Humana or Omaha or Chubb Limited. I don't want to do that. I don't want to worry about copays. These are all Medicare Advantage problems, right? So I jump into this this first step here, and I say, step one is you have to have a red, white, and blue card, okay? You've got Part A is your hospital. That's paid for by FICA taxes. Part B is going to be the doctor's side. Comes out of your Social Security check. Once you've got step one, you've got a massive fork in the road, and you have to make a decision. You've already chosen option one. Option one means I have original Medicare, like half of a zipper on a jacket, and then I have a Medicare supplement that covers all the bills left over, right? And then I have a standalone drug plan that could be a completely separate entity with a different insurance company customized to your drugs. Now, we already know this stuff, it's basic. I know you do, but your clients don't. And if you're not explaining to this and they're not visualizing it, it's not going to help afterwards, okay? So step one, step two is option one. This option two is the stuff that you're seeing on television. You don't have Medicare Advantage. I'm not talking about Medicare Advantage. I just want to let you know it is available if you ever wanted to consider it, okay? It's not terrible, but it's designed, you need to know the differences between the supplements and the Advantage. Option two, with these advantages, it replaces original Medicare. So you're not using original Medicare anymore, you're using a private version of their Medicare now through like a Humana, Aetna, Devoted. You're using their version of the Medicare Advantage, of the Medicare programs. Why this is a big difference is because, like I just said, Medicare Advantage, where they're talking about networks and co-pays and all these extra bills that could come out, we're not talking about that realm. I know you already know this, I just want to make sure the clients know this, okay? Now that we're talking about Medicare supplements, I can't talk about your drug plan right now because we're outside of that annual enrollment period, right? I'm going to talk about one section and one section only. It's just that Medicare supplement block that you have right now. I'm glad you have a Medicare supplement. The company you is not doing all the magic. It's the fact that you have a federally regulated supplement instead of Advantage. I love Blue Cross. I think they're fantastic. My clients say the same thing about AARP and Mutual of Omaha because it's the plan that they have, not the company they have it with. Okay? Choosing a Medicare supplement. This isn't coming up perfectly clear, but choosing a Medicare supplement. So whenever you're doing this, we know this, but the clients don't. All of these are exact coverage. There's no difference. F is an F is an F, G is a G is a G, okay? This is right from the Medicare.gov handbook. I've got this laminated in my presentation book. I can talk at them. I show them this physically. Right at the bottom it says Medicare.gov, okay? I'm gonna kind of get back to this in a second. So Plan C and Plan F, we know that if somebody's turning 65 right now, we cannot write them a Plan C and Plan F, right? Does everybody know that from the newer class? Okay. So they discontinued this back in January of 2020. Why this is important is because when you look at this grid right here, oh, perfect. All right, I'm just gonna make this easy and I'm gonna kind of zoom in here, okay? After I've gone over the fact finder, the cornerstone brochure, I've talked about Medicare versus the supplement versus Advantage, I go right into these grids. These are all the different versions of that one block of supplements that you could actually get. Plans A through D are the older plans. When people first joined into Medicare back in the 60s, they came out with very basic benefit plans like a Plan A. You see all those missing blocks at the end? Not even going into the details for you guys, those are all bills out of your pockets under Plan A. Wouldn't you think a plan that has half the benefits covered would be really inexpensive? It's barely covering anything. Why is it so expensive? Because this is an old, outdated plan, and the only people that have that are probably 95 years old and in a nursing home, okay? So plans A through D, I really don't recommend to anybody. On the other side of the equation, you've got plans K through N. These are all the Medicare modernization plans, and you can see here, they're all paid out at 50, 75% benefits, and if you're gonna go more that route, you might as well consider Medicare Advantage, okay? What I wanna talk about is just the plans in the middle, F and G. F asterisk is a high deductible version of Plan F. It's not the only version of Plan F. We very seldomly run across that, but that's why it's an asterisk there. Plan F was the Cadillac plan. Up until 2020, everyone got Plan F and every single thing was covered and it was amazing, okay? Problem is, when you discontinue a plan, you sever off any new people from joining this plan, okay? So anybody turning 65, like our parents or anybody else, they can't get that plan. They have to go to the next best one, which is Plan G. Well, why do we care about that? Because if you heard about a Plan J, it did every single thing that Plan F did, plus an at-home recovery, which was $40 a day for 40 days. Nobody really used that benefit, they discontinued it. Well, why is that a big deal now? Because I have clients who are stuck in Plan J, and they're paying $350, $400 a month. Well, that's crazy. How old are they, 100 years old? No, they're probably 76 years old. But the difference is, because the insurance pool, no young people are joining it, and no older people are able to get into it, they've severed off all the fresh people from joining that plan. You basically solidified that block of business, and they keep aging and getting older. Everyone's jumped out into the safety boats except for the people that are stuck in that, okay? So the writing on the wall that I see is that Plan F could end up being that way. Maybe not in the next year or two, but 5, 6, 7 years from now, the writing on the wall is it could turn into that Plan J atmosphere, okay? And you might be healthy now, but what if that diabetes pills goes into diabetes insulin? What if you have to have an amputation? The only way to switch your Medicare supplement is to answer the health questions. So when you explain these plans, you got to jump out of your seat and say, you really shouldn't have Plan F. As agents, I'm going to tell you honestly, I make more money if I write a Plan F, and I'm telling you not to do it. You should have Plan G. When you start talking like this to somebody who has money, and you're actually being very matter-of-fact with them, they're going to turn a switch in their brain, and they're going to start respecting you. Okay? When I walk into a house, I'm not a waiter saying, oh, you've got a Plan F? I can get you a Plan F and I can save you $18 a month. I'm not giving them what they want, I'm giving them what they need. They don't know the differences in these plans, we do. I asked you in the training, AARP Plan F for $180 a month for a 70-year-old, that should be jumping out and be like, I gotta talk to you about that. It's flashing high beams. Get passionate. Get a little bit disruptive with them, because if they had cancer, they would want it removed. It's up to us to diagnose those cancers in their retirement, okay? And if you can create that respect in the house with higher net worth clients through the Medicare supplement way, they're gonna look at you different than a guy who door knocked them, or a gal that door knocked them, or a Medicare supplement salesman. And then 3-4 years from now, you start telling the group that you wrote an annuity and it came from a Blue Lead like Fred talked about this morning. We've gotta get good and professional about talking about these a certain way, okay? Any questions so far? I've been kind of flying through this because I know you know most of this stuff. Good? So, now that we've talked about all these things and we've talked about these plans, F is not the right one for you, okay? G is the one that you should have now. The only difference between Plan F and Plan G is what? What is the deductible? And is that every time I go to the doctor? It seems kind of high. It's a one-time annual deductible. What if they've already got a Plan F and they've been to the doctor in 2024? Do they have to pay that deductible all over again? They definitely don't. They're not going to pay it all over again. It's a Medicare deductible that's already been paid for by their previous Plan F, okay? So for the rest of the year, it's going to work like a Plan F anyways, but in 2025, be ready for the first roughly $240 that you have to pay. So what we're doing is we're saving people $1,000 in premiums, and then you pay that $240 yourself. That's what we do. And then you're in that healthier pool of people. Some people write the Plan N. I really don't talk about it too much unless they already have one and they're just looking for a cost savings. I don't like co-pays on a regular basis for the supplements. We already mentioned a little bit about this, but Medicare supplement pricing has a 12-month rate lock. The rate increases happen twice. After their first 12 months, it's typically around the anniversary date of the policy, and then another smaller one right around their birthday, okay? The blocks of business, it's important we talk about this stuff. If you're talking about Chubb Limited, which is one of my favorite ones to get right now, okay? A lot of people think it's derogatory when they say, oh, they've only been in the Medicare supplement world for 2 years. That means the only people in Chubb Limited right now are either healthy enough to get into it, relatively in the last 24 months, or they're turning 65. It's the youngest, healthiest people out there that are allowed in that plan. So don't let it be a derogatory, let it be a positive, okay? And then we talked about before the discontinued plans and how that affects the rates. Does that make sense to everybody in this room? If it doesn't, let me know. I can slow it down. I'm just assuming it does, okay? That Plan J and its rate history is important. They know about that. Yeah, I never heard of Plan J. Yeah, it was better than Plan F, and it was discontinued. It's crazy expensive right now. Then we go into actually quoting the Medicare supplement and the Plan Ds. I pull up my quoting software. I'll eliminate some of the ones. I don't write the Allstate. I actually didn't get licensed with them because I thought you had to do their car insurance too. So I'll X those ones out. It's only about $1.02 difference anyways. But I'll actually turn the iPad around and I will show them all the Medicare supplements. I'll show them their existing Mutual of Omaha, their existing Blue Cross Blue Shield. Where are they? Halfway down the second page. Why are they doing that? Because all their advertising they have to do. I'm a broker. The more money that you pay, the more money I make. And I'm saying, Mom, don't do that. Go with this one and save as much money as you can. You'll thank me later. I want you to be my client now, and I want you to tell all your friends and girlfriends that this is the plan that you should have. That's how you get the referrals, by shaking them up a little bit and saying, oh yeah, well I talked to my girlfriend, she said she had Plan F and you can't even get that plan anymore. It's just so good and you can't even get it. That's not a good thing. You can't even get the Plan F anymore. I hear that all the time. So make sure you're actually having those conversations. Once we've talked about this and I've actually showed them this screen around and I come up with a quote, I'm letting you know this is where I come up with my quotes. I don't work for any one company. These are all the different plans that are out there. These are the ones that we can actually recommend for you. Then once I get that quote, now is where the now and will be comes in, okay? Make sure this is legible. Make sure this is neat. Just because they understand it now and they absolutely love you doesn't mean their daughter or son is going to love you because they don't know who you are. So if this is chicken scratch and you can't read it and they don't know what's going on, it looks unprofessional, that's not a good thing. It's not a good look for us. So once you do your now and will be, I'll show you the numbers here for the one that I did. This also can be used for life insurance if they got several policies and they're doing a cash out. That's why I didn't put anything specific on here. But these are real numbers, and this is what I use in my seminar, and people just look at it and say, that's works. I'm just gonna go to this side first. But this is the before. So this is exactly what my before looks like. So when I look at this, before and after, or now and will be, this is exactly how I write it out. David was paying $201 a month times 12. It's $24.12 for the year, plain and simple. Diana's $192 times 12, $23.04. I actually add in Part B deductible, 0. Well, does that really have to be said? Yes. Because if you don't, you're comparing apples and oranges. If you write them a Plan G when they're coming from a Plan F, and you don't explain to them the difference, that's going to look bad on us. So, this is the Plan F, this is the apple, and then you got the orange next to it we're going to compare it to. So Part B deductible is 0, so you pay nothing other than your annual premium. Your annual premium is $47.16 a year. Very plain and simple, but it's nice and neat. Now we go to the after. This one happened to be the Humana Achieve plan because they're a little bit older, the numbers work well for them. David's premium goes from $201 a month with Mutual of Omaha, and it goes down to $126 a month with the Humana, right? Diana's goes from $192 down to $102. So they went from an annual premium of $47.16 a year down to $27.36. But we also have a Part B deductible. I did this last year when it was the deductible was $228. It's $240 now. So what I do is I include the Part B deductible back into it. So now we can make apples and apples comparison. Because I know what you're going to say, well, they're different plans. You're right. Once you put the Part B deductible back into it, now everything is a wash. So even including the Part B deductible, their premium went from $393 a month down to $228 a month. That's newfound money for us, okay? Any questions about this? No, Matt, it's so simple, it's so basic. Why are you showing it? Because we're not doing it, okay? Maybe the veterans are, but if you're new agents and you're just sitting here randomly talking quotes at people, you're gonna get all these random things about, oh, they were just an idiot, they didn't want to do it, they didn't get it. And they're not gonna say that idiot, but they were really fussy, they were really a pain in the neck. Did they know who you were? Did they know what company, your background? Did you talk about the dynamic of Medicare supplements and how they work? Then you have these conversations going forward and you can help save them money. Now you've just freed up all this extra money here, then you throw in dental and vision plans, UNL home health care plans, there's all these other things you can do with it, right? Once I'm done with this, my close is, now listen, the only way I can get you into this brand new Chubb Limited plan is to see if I can qualify you medically. This is where I push it back on them a little bit. Mr. Dino, have you had any major surgeries in the last few years? Heart attacks, strokes, cancers? Your medicines, are you taking blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes? Reiterate the fact finder that you just did. Are you taking anything for memory loss, anything out there? Now you're pushing it back on them, and what you want to do is create that desire. No, I'm in good health. Okay, good. What I'll do is I'll run up the flagpole and I'll see what they say. And about 24 to 48 hours, I'm going to get a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If it's a thumbs up, you owe me breakfast. I just saved you $1,400 a year, whatever the number is. Okay? If not, you just keep with what you have. Now, I just need to see your red, white, and blue card. Can you grab that for me? That's the close. And if it's life insurance, who do you want your beneficiaries to be? Your 2 kids, your spouse, whatever? I just need to see your driver's license. That's how we close. There's nothing to it. But the close is so easy, and you're able to assume it when you backlog everything else with actual facts. And you write it down nice and neat, and they've got their now and will be, and you've got your card clipped into it in a Cornerstone brochure, and you say, here you go. Okay? Then when you come back, and you say, hey, let's say you did all this, and you saved them a bunch of money, now they're a client. They've already said yes to you. They've given you their social, date of birth, everything. Now when you go back, you can reiterate that fact finder a little bit more. Just like I did with your Medicare supplements, Mr. Schuyler, you said everything was great, it was perfect, and I just showed you there could be something better out there. I do the same thing with savings accounts. How good are your CDs right now? Well, they're not really that good at all, actually. Now that I know you a little bit more, and it's a go back, and I like and trust you, they're giving you socials and bank accounts. They gotta like you a little bit. They certainly have to trust you, okay? But this is the door opener, and if we're tripping over our feet to get into these houses, we work so hard on these phones to get into this. The one that Dave and I work with that I was telling you about, it's Isle of Palms. It's really nice. It's very intimidating. People were super sweet, and we started with this to begin with. $2 million in annuities over the last 5 years. It's crazy. Well, it must be nice, must be nice. It must be nice that I did this the right way, saved the money, and earned their trust. And they're asking about the kids on Facebook, and you build that relationship. And then they give you referrals for other people, because they want to know the secrets that are out there. Anybody else that has a plan out, let me know. I'll give you a gift card to go out to dinner. Questions? The magic to this is not just me talking at them, it's having a process. My annuity presentation, you guys saw it. No big deal, Matt. We've already seen that a million times. But are you doing it? And are you doing it confidently, top to bottom? Step 1 through 7, every single time, every single time. It's a $30,000 Georgetown account. I just showed you one of those statements. It's a $330,000 Somerville account. I don't care what they have. I keep doing the same calisthenics every single time. So when I'm in front of basically no money, I can do it. When I'm in front of big money, it's well rehearsed. And I use this a lot. I mean, you guys probably know I like doing karaoke and everything, but if we're doing karaoke, right, you got half the room in here, and everyone's got lyrics on the screen, right? Everyone does. That's what these are. These are lyrics on the screen. Your job is to perform those lyrics, not just mumble through them. That's how you get from good to great, okay? When you're talking about being like nationally recognized, you guys want to make convention trips, you got to find the systems that are in place and keep doing it so you know those lyrics without even looking at them, and you perform. So that's my spiel on it. I just want to make sure you guys kind of got top to bottom. Questions?
Hold on. One more question. The Part B deductible for the Plan G, what does that go? So if they just go to the doctor, a regular checkup, that's not part of the deductible, correct?
It is.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah. So what I basically tell people is it's going to happen. If you go to the doctor once, you're going to hit that $240 deductible. Let's just go in and pack it right into the overall premium.
Right.
But when they understand the dynamic of what these look like, and like I said, I physically use that reference. If I can save you $2,000 a year as a couple, and you pay out $480 in 2 deductibles, you keep everything that's left over. And they like those visuals. But Part B deductible is a one-time medical deductible, and let's just assume that they're going to hit it.
Matt, do you close this and then pivot into the ancillaries, or do you do the ancillaries now and then type situation? You close it all at one time?
What I'll typically do, it depends on how red hot they are. If they really want a dental plan, I'll just package the whole thing together for them if they can afford it anyways. But most of the time, people want to make sure this gets approved first. And if they've got decent net worths, I'm going to want to try to get as much face time as I can. Because the first time I saw them, they were like, okay, you know, I'm convinced a little bit. And then the more you can go back and get that face time, I think it kind of builds more and more. But here's the other thing too, guys. I get a lot of referrals out of state. I do a lot of work from home from my home office since COVID. I'm licensed in lots of different states. I've got all this stuff built into my email. I do Med Supp across the country, New Hampshire, Ohio, wherever. I mean, Scott's mom's one of my best clients.
Oh!
Just kidding. But if you get good at this stuff, you can present it over the phone. I've got T65s that are calling me. I don't have to run out there and do that. If they're still working and they're busy, nights, weekends, I want the FaceTime, but I'm also very busy as well. So if I can make them clients with this, I get so many referrals, and I'm just doing it over the phone. This is exactly what I did when that lady had her sister worked at a Cornerstone, basically, in downtown Charleston. She was like, I don't want to do business with them. You know more about this stuff than they did. But you got to prove it to them in these lyrics that I'm showing you guys right now. But you got to know it. And when you see Plan Fs, you got to get fired up. And if somebody says, no, I don't want to talk about anything else, I've got the best plan out there. I get it. I've done seminars. I got Blue Cross Blue Shield. They're the best one out there, and they pay all my bills. I did a seminar, and I said, hey, how many guys in here have Blue Cross Blue Shield? Half the room raises their hand. Who has AARP? The other half raises their hand. Which one's better? Well, mine's better because I can go to any doctor I want to. Well, no, mine's better because I can go and everything is covered. Guys, they're exactly the same. You're just being overcharged. That's what it is. And I use those stories when I talk to clients. People think that Blue Cross Blue Shield, that's good insurance. My mom worked for Somerville Medical. She had no clue the difference in the plan. She just thought Blue Cross Blue Shield was the best one out there. Is it Advantage? Is it State? Is it Plan F? What is it? A lot of people don't know, and they're asking their doctor. And then you might want to preamble it ahead of time and say, they may not have heard of Chubb Limited before. It's the #1 insurance, it's the largest insurance company in the world, A++ rated. You go to your doctor, they've never heard of it, that's okay. You know these things and you've seen all the companies behind the scenes. Just because they haven't seen an infomercial on TV doesn't mean it's not a good company. That's where you have me, and I'm a broker. And here's the thing, these rates are gonna go up every few years. If you have an issue with them 4 or 5 years from now, call me. I'm like a lifeguard in the chair, just waiting for someone to come out there, and I'll come help them. I'm not gonna know, because they don't give me the rate increases, because they know I'm a broker, and they know I'm gonna come out here and get you the next best plan. So every couple of years, we'll have that open dialogue. And every couple of years, I sold a piece of land. I have $300,000 in my checking account. What the hell are you doing, 300 grand in your checking account? That's where this stuff comes from. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna get off my soapbox now, but I'm really passionate about this stuff because there's so much business in these households. We gotta be able to present and close them right off the rip. Any other questions?
No more questions? Guys, well, first of all, I want to thank Matt because I was saying this to him this morning. In my humble opinion, what he does is some of the best presentation skills of anybody that we've ever had at Cornerstone. And that's not to blow his ego up. It's already
Oh, go on, Dave.
plenty big. But what he does is so simple and it's easily duplicated. And so I really want you guys to take very close attention. I'll admit it myself, because the way that I do this business is off the hip, and it's hard to teach people how to do what I do. What Matt does is in a freaking 3-ring binder and on a PowerPoint presentation. And if you can read and you can talk to people, you should be able to do this. So he's made a very good living out of duplicating it over and over and over and over again. And to use the same thing like when I was talking about with athletes, you know, the best athletes are the ones that practice the most and do it over and over and over and over again. You guys have the ability to do the exact same thing. So if you don't have the material that he's got here, ask him. I'm sure he will share it with you. But this is gold. This will make you a ton of freaking money. And for the new folks that were in the training that we did at the end of last week, you want to talk to households that have Medicare supplements, okay? Because they obviously have at least enough disposable income to be able to afford it, as opposed to immediately focusing on Medicare Advantage. Supplements better insurance, right? It's a lot better. And if they've got the extra income, the likelihood is they probably got some little pots of gold laying around somewhere along the way as well. In which case, conversation around deliver and pivot comes full circle. Matt's a freaking champ at it. It's my favorite kind of sale. If you're going back and deliver the Med Supp, guess what we can do? We can pivot somewhere else. So when you asked the question, I thought I teed it up very nicely. You know, you want to get your presentation done, but you also want to set yourself up for that next meeting. And so for those of you that never heard this phrase, I'm going to use it again because I realize the new folks may not. But we like to say pigs get fat, hogs go to slaughter. Okay, you want to be pigs. You want to be able to keep coming back to the trough and keep eating every time you come back to that house. Hogs try to get everything all at once. Hogs go to slaughter. Okay, so allow yourself the opportunity to come back for a reason, and come back for another reason, and come back for another reason. And if you're following this system, I think you're going to win.
And if you do it that presentation, they're kind of exhausted anyways. You don't want to put more on them with more brochures. Keep it simple, stupid, and then move on to the next.
But if you notice, I mean, Matt is a showman salesperson, but this was education, right? This was helping people understand what they didn't already understand. So for those of you that were doing my little fact finder thing last week, and I was obviously answering questions, so I showed you I didn't understand what Medicare was. This is how we get past that. This is how we move immediately into, it's not a close. This makes sense. If I concede you, what was it, $1,400, $1,500 in your example? If I concede you $1,500 a year, you're gonna say no? If I said I would write you a check for $1,500, would you say no? Nobody in their right mind is gonna say no to that. So Matt's basically saying, here's your check for $1,500, I just gotta see if I can get you approved. It's the easiest close on the planet. All right, so thank you for your training.